Okay, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Nick's Veggie Patch. This episode is all about what plants or what seeds I like to sow in August, ready to fill the hungry gap for next year, or just to have a lovely early autumn harvest of various salads and vegetables. So, in this episode, I'm going to be showing you what seeds I like to sow in August, or what seeds I'm going to be sowing in August, and what's going to be happening on Nick's Veggie Patch. So, without further ado, guys, let's get cracking on. Okay, guys, so I'm going to be talking to you today about what I'm going to be sowing in August, or the end of August we're coming to now. What seeds I'm going to be sowing, ready for an early autumn harvest, or ready for a harvest next spring. Now, there are loads of seeds that can be sown in August. If you watch some of my fellow YouTubers, they have videos on what are some of the best seeds to sow in August. That's some of the YouTubers that I subscribe to and follow. So, for instance, you might want to take a look at LizZorab's YouTube channel called Blyther Farm. She uploads many videos on what you can sow in, say, August, July, March, April. So if anything like that interests you, then yeah, pop along, take a look at LizZorab's YouTube channel. She lives in Wales and her plot is called Blyther Farm. There's also people like Hugh Richards, who also lives in Wales, another very good YouTuber who explains everything there is that you need to know about aspects of doing your allotment or doing your vegetable growing at home if you've got a really nice garden. And another person that I follow quite heavily is a guy called Charles Dowding. Another person to tell you about permaculture, sowing seeds, planting seeds, doing the no-dig philosophy, also what to sow, how to sow it, best ways of planting it out, all that kind of thing. So if you're interested in all of that, then I would say check out their YouTube channels, like I always do, just for advice. I always blog them, so I always message them, especially Charles Dowding, who's on Facebook, for good ideas. So this video is all about what I like to sow in August, what I'm going to be sowing in August, and other vegetables and salads that you can sow now or get ready, prepared for next year's growing season. So obviously now in August you can sow things like spring cabbages, ready for next year to have a spring harvest. Garlic is a very good one to plant now, if you've got varieties of garlic in between, say, what you can plant now. I always find the best time to plant out garlic bulbs is around about October time, because garlic likes the frost, and what happens is the frost enables the garlic to split into the single bulb. So if your bulb starts like that, eventually it will kind of split into single bulbs, and that has been helped by a good frost. So around about October time, November time is when I'll be planting my garlic bulbs out. I will have 2 prepared beds ready for them to go out, and also that's when I'll be planting some onion sets out that I know can also tolerate the frost, but may have to be helped along by covering them over with some cloche that will keep them nice and warm and protected from any harsh frosts or winters that we get. So one of the first things that I'm going to be sowing in August or the end of August is Pak Choy. Now this variety is called Red Choy F1. You can sow this from May to August, and you can harvest from July to October. Now the harvesting bit means when you obviously sow it. So if you sow in May, basically you will get a kind of July harvest. Anywhere after that, you will probably get an August, September, October harvest. But I'm going to go and give Pak Choy a go. I mean, I've grown it before. It didn't turn out that great, but this one is a different variety. So it's called Red Choy. It's an F1 variety. It's also a good disease resistant vegetable. So I'm going to be giving that one a try. I've got my greenhouse in my garden, and I've got 3 raised beds that we built throughout that we built at the end of July. So hopefully things that I do sow now in August, or end of August should I say, some of that will be going into my new raised beds out in our garden. The rest of it will be going up to Nick's veggie patch up at my allotment. So Pak Choy, one of the first things I'm going to be sowing. Another one I'm going to be sowing ready for next year. This is cabbage, and it's called Autumn 2 Flower of Spring. This is a new one from me, and this is the free seeds that I get out of the Kitchen Garden magazine that I subscribe to. They give me 3 packets of seeds every month with my magazine, so I literally get 3 packets. They vary on what they give me. So these variety of seeds are from Mr. Fothergill's. The last lot last year, they were from King's Seeds. So I'll be giving this one a go. With this one, you can sow March to May, and you can harvest. You can sow March to May or July to August, and you can harvest February to May or September to November. So that's the second one that I'm going to be sowing. I won't sow too many because there is another lot of cabbage seeds that I will be sowing, so hopefully we'll get 2 lots. I did plant some cabbages this year that I got from DT Brown's catalogue. They've come up, and I've harvested about 6 cabbages so far. Really good, really happy with them. So the second lot, or the third lot of seeds I'm going to be sowing is this variety of cabbage called April. It's ideal for spring greens or mature hearts. You can sow this anywhere from March to May or July to August, and you can harvest September to October. This is also a good source of vitamins A, B, and C. But I'm going to give this a go because I like the shape of it. So I'll be sowing a few of those seeds in my new cell trays that I got from Charles Dowding. It's the ones he's designed himself from a company called Containerwise. So that's the next lot of seeds on the list that I'll be sowing. I'll also be giving some spinach a go for August, and I've got two varieties again. This one is Amazon F1. You can sow this from March to May or July to October with this variety, and you can harvest May to June or August to December. This variety is slow to bolt and is also a good disease resistant variety of spinach. F1 normally means that you can't really save the seeds to sow again for next year. That's generally what an F1 variety means. I think in the past I've sown a couple of F1 varieties, kept seeds, and I think they have germinated the previous year. So I don't know if that's completely true, but as I said, spinach is another one I'm going to be sowing. I'm also going to be sowing turnip, and this variety is called Snowball. This is a popular choice for spring sowings, but you can sow it now because you can sow late March to August. You can get a harvest between June to October. And obviously turnips are very good raw in a salad. Turnips also something you could pickle. So making a pickling mixture up, then you could pickle that pretty quick, put it in a jar. So that's another vegetable that I'm going to be sowing. Also, I'm going to be giving chicory or radishes. I'm going to be sowing that as well. Again, you can sow this April to August, harvest June to October. This one always has very good firm hearts. Bit bitter, but a nice, I would say a nice bitter spicy taste. So that's something else I'm going to be sowing. Also, I've got some broad beans. I can't make out the variety, but I will put that up on the video. Everything I'm sowing, I will put a picture to the varieties of seeds that I'm sowing. But this one, you can get two lots of harvest. So you can get, so for instance, the first year, so in between end of July, August, or October, November, December. In the first year, you can also get a harvest. If you sow end of July, August, you can get a harvest halfway through November. And then for a second year sowing, around about January time to get a harvest in May, June. So I'm going to be giving this broad bean a go. As I said, I'll put the descriptions or a picture of what I'm going to be sowing up on the video. I'm going to be sowing kale. Now this one is new to Mr. Fothergill's, and this is called Ethiopian Amara. So this one is tender and mild textural greens. So this one March to September, and you can get a June to March harvest. So this will probably come down into my raised beds that are in the garden. I've got 3 of them. I'll show you what they look like when I take you out into my garden. But we do like kale. I've got plenty of kale up at the allotment at the moment. The variety I've got is Cavallero. Absolutely wonderful variety of kale. I've grown it now for 3 years, ever since I've had my allotment. And I'll tell you what, it's lovely if you make it into kale chips. Now, I got the idea from one of the YouTubers that I follow, Hugh Richards. He took a variety of kale and he turned it into kale chips. He fried them in a little bit of butter and oil. They came out perfect. I've done that with the Cavallero kale, and it's absolutely wonderful if you just add some spices to it, like smoked paprika, a bit of garlic, salt, tiny little bit of pepper, fry it in a bit of knob of butter, let it go really crisp. It's absolutely wonderful. So yeah, I'm going to be growing that variety of kale. I'm going to be growing some radishes. So this variety is Scarlet Globe. Now, the good thing about radishes is you can sow radish from February right through to September, but you'll get a very, very quick harvest. So if you sow them, for instance, in February, give them about a week to 2 weeks to germinate, they'll come up. Once you've planted them out, if everything's okay, the weather's not too bad, generally you can have radishes ready within 6 to 8 weeks. They are a very, very good salad staple to sow. They do come up very, very quickly. I mean, germination time is usually 7 to 10 days once you've sown them. So I would always say, you know, if you like radishes, grow them, because they are a very quick crop that you can sow and harvest. So, and also have a very, very quick turnaround. So I'm going to be sowing quite a few radishes because my wife likes them. So these will be going into the raised bed down here and not up the allotment. Also, regular watering, if I could say that, regular watering ensures fast growth, and it also prevents the radishes from going woody. So the more water you give them, you get that quicker growth. The radishes will be ready quicker, but it also stops them from going woody. I think less, if you water less, they seem to go, like obviously they go woody and they don't taste as good. So the more watering you do, I think the better the radish. So obviously radish is on the list for sowing, and the final one at the moment on the list for sowing is, it's going to be lettuce. So this is salad bowl mixed. So this is a variety you can sow from March to August and harvest from April to October. Again, salad leaves, a very good staple to have. Again, they don't take too long to grow. So from sowing to harvest, it's not very long. So always good if you like salad leaves, to have salad leaves in part of your raised bed. But another tip that I can give, that I've picked up from watching other people and listening to my fellow plot holders down where I am, is if you don't want your salad leaves to be eaten by slugs or snails, take off the first few sort of leaves when they start to really form in your bed. And then also, once you've taken the first few leaves off to stop slugs or snails from getting there, and you do start to harvest them, if you don't want them to go into a ball, into a heart, keep picking the leaves. Don't completely pick the whole thing. Just gradually pick the leaves every so many days, and then allow them to regrow every so many days. And you can harvest salad leaves for a good number of weeks until they do finally sort of bolt into the salad sort of flower or the salad bulb. But if you don't want a salad heart like you would get when you have an iceberg lettuce, then just pick the leaves every now and then, just to give you that lovely fresh texture you get with salad leaves. If you want to check out on how to sow salad leaves and the process, then again I will say check out Charles Dowding on YouTube. An absolutely brilliant market gardener. He's got a plot near Somerset. He's really good. I've been down to view it, but his videos are really, really helpful. The tips he gives out are really, really helpful. They've helped me. I do his no dig philosophy. I know that's not to a number of people's tastes, but for me, that's what I like to do. And I think personally, from my own experiences, as I told him when I met him, I think I've benefited more from doing his no dig because I've had a larger quantity of crops. So by doing no dig for me, I had a bigger harvest of potatoes, a bigger harvest of salad leaves, cabbages, sweet corns, those kind of vegetables. I understand that no dig is not for everybody, and people love to get their hands in, get stuck in, and dig their allotment. But I like to do the no dig. And also, what I like to do is cover my beds over with a mulch or topsoil, weed them, prepare them for next year. But when I'm weeding, I'm still not digging. I'm pretty much digging. I'm taking out the weeds by hand or with a trowel, and then I cover over with topsoil or compost, ready for next year. So that's what I'm going to be sowing seed wise in August. As I say, the broad beans may not be sown in August now. I know I've said they can be sown in August because obviously looking at the back of the packet, it tells you when to sow, when to harvest. But last year I've that variety and another variety of broad beans that I've got. I didn't sow them to about October and November time. Planted them out in December and then had a beautiful harvest in around about May, June time. A really good lot of broad beans. They were really good. So that's probably when they'll get sown. But most of the seeds I've shown you there will get sown now. I'll sow them, start them off in my greenhouse because the weather is still warm. So I'll allow them to germinate in my greenhouse. I will show you my greenhouse as well. And then most of that stuff will get planted out into the free raised beds that I've got in the garden. Some of it will be taken up and plant it out into my allotment, which also means it will give me the opportunity to tidy my allotment up, ready for next year. As well as that, I'll be showing you the allotment at some point as well, whether that's in another video or whether that's in this video. But I will show you in a minute, guys, the garden where my 3 new raised beds, or 4 new raised beds, because one of them is a flower bed, or it's going to be a flower bed, and I'll show you my greenhouse. So I'll get cracking on and I'll come back to you guys in a little while. Okay guys, so I brought you out into the garden. As you can see, this is the 3 new raised beds that we built that are going to be having the vegetables that we sow in them. So there's going to be vegetables and salads in these. We bought a bag of topsoil in July, and we used the topsoil to fill those 3 raised beds, and also the long raised bed there. As you can see, that is got full of topsoil in it. It's also got it's got a tree halfway down it and some flowers at one end there, just round from where the wheelbarrow is. We've also planted some flowers that you'll be able to see in a minute when I take you up there, just to show you what we've started to put in it. And as from previous video there, you can see the greenhouse. A lot of the stuff that was in it obviously went to pot because of the hot weather. So hopefully everything that I sow this time around will be a lot better, because the heat has come down a hell of a lot. But as I say, most of the things that I sow will go into these 3 raised beds here. Obviously at the back there by the fence, we'll be trimming all that greenage or foliage back, and eventually putting paving slabs all the way along there and in between the 3 raised beds, so that we can walk along. But yeah, as you can see, lots of things going on here in the garden, and I'll show you what's happening in the large raised bed where we've got the flowers. So as you can see, guys, you can see the flowers that we've planted in there. Some nice pink ones, white ones coming up, but this raised bed here is just going to be for flowers. I've got lots of flower seeds in my tray in my study, but yeah, just this raised bed here is just going to be for flowers and only flowers. And then obviously anything else we sow flower wise will start off in the greenhouse and then go into the flower beds there. We've got like 3 or 4 tubs on the floor that had flowers in. Obviously the hot weather got too much, even with the watering, and they pretty much died off, but hopefully they will come back. But yeah, we've come really far with the garden now. So as I say, anything we do sow will now go into the 3 raised beds, if it's salad or vegetables, and if it's flowers, obviously flowers will come in here, and vegetables and salads in these 3 raised beds here. So I'm going to crack on now, guys, because I have got some seeds to start sowing, and I'll come back to you and show you the progress. I'll also show you me sowing some seeds, but I'll come back to you guys in a short while. Right, guys, welcome back. I've brought you into the greenhouse to show you what I sowed a few days ago, because the videos that I made for while I was demonstrating how I sow my seeds and what I do, it went slightly wrong in the fact that my new headset wasn't charged up properly, so I was only able to get sound on a couple of the videos. So the videos I did of me sowing seeds didn't have no sound, so before I upload this video I decided to get rid of them. But I thought I'd bring you in and show you what I did sow anyway, and show you what's coming up and what hasn't come up at the moment. So obviously I've sown cabbage April. They aren't materializing just yet. I've also sown radish Saxa variety. They've not come up yet. I've also sowed cabbage flower of spring. They haven't come up either, and neither has the turnip snowball or the spinach Amazon F1. So those ones haven't come up yet, which I'm not too worried, because they probably will come up eventually. Oh, I tell a lie, there is a radish right in the corner there starting to pop its head up. So yeah, okay, I didn't see that, but yeah, that's looking good. But the ones, also some broad beans I've sown that haven't come up yet, but the ones that are starting to come up here in the tray is the new kale that I'm sowing. So they've started to materialize. Obviously spinach isn't coming up yet, but I'm sure it will do. But the ones that are really coming up that I'm really pleased about, so Pak Choy, the red Choy F1, they're coming up, they're doing really, really well. Also the salad bowl have started to come up, so those are ones that I can thin down and start to think about maybe putting into smaller little seed trays or pots, or just getting ready to plant them out. But it's a little bit too early for them to go out at the moment, but potting on will be absolutely fine. Same with the Pak Choy, they will absolutely be fine to thin out and pot on. And then the other one that I'm really happy that's coming up is the radish Scarlet Globe. I literally knew they wouldn't, as I said, they wouldn't take long to germinate, 7 to 10 days. So yeah, they've germinated. They're coming up, and they are pretty much at the stage now where you can plant them out. So I'm in my greenhouse at the moment. As you can see, the 3 raised beds in the garden. I'll get one of them prepared. I'll take out the weeds that have come up in some of them, not many. I'll take them out, and then I'll get an area ready for the radish Scarlet Globe to go into there. As I've said in the video, some of this stuff will obviously go in the raised bed here, but I'll also, because I've got quite a few that have germinated, they will be able to come up to my allotment as well. Also, I've got some clearing up in here to do as well, because where the heat got so much and I was trying to constantly water, I couldn't keep on top, and a lot of things have just gone, couldn't be saved this year. So really disappointed this year because I was hoping for a lot of chilies, and obviously haven't got any because of the heat, and I couldn't. And it was trying to keep on top of things, and it was very hard, obviously, with the heat. But I'll say everything's coming up in here really, really well. Time to clear it and time to put on. Okay guys, well that's it for a long-awaited episode of Nick's Veggie Patch. As I said, I've been really busy over the last 3-4 weeks, so I've not had chance to get up the allotment to do a video. I've only had the opportunity to get up there, have a bit of a tidy up, harvest some of the produce that has been growing up there, do some watering to try and save it, which has not been too bad, and I think I have. It needs more of a tidy up there, which I will be going up in the week to do a tidy up and really sort everything else up there. So this is the reason why I've done a video from down in my garden where we've decided to put some raised beds. Generally, I'm very happy with what I've sown. It is coming up as you can see, and now's the time to think about preparing the allotment for next year, and also planting or sowing some more seeds, which you can sow. So I'll be going through my seed collection to see what's available to sow in September or a little bit further on, ready for a harvest for next year. Broad beans and peas are going to be the main ones that I'm looking at for next year for the early harvest in spring, along with the garlic. I've got my garlic ready to go out into my raised beds up at the plot. They won't be going out to at least October time, but things are progressing. I'm really happy with what's going on. So as always guys, stay safe. If you like the video you've seen, hit the like button in the bottom left hand corner of the screen, and if you've got people that enjoy allotmenteering, gardening or whatever, get them to watch my video and get them to hit the subscribe button, which is in the bottom right hand corner. And I will see you guys very soon for another episode of Nick's Veggie Patch, which will come, hopefully, fingers crossed, from my allotment. As always guys, stay safe and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.